We're back with the latest episode of Auburn All the Time. It's finally football time. We're a week out now, so we actually have football to talk about.
Finally.
It's been a long off season, but as usual, I got my man Bo Starkey from Average Joe's, and he'll touch on the East for us in our SEC preview. With him being the Florida Gator fan, I know he'll keep it real and tell the truth on as far as the East goes. So I had to bring him on board to get started. So with that being said, let's. Of course, I'm going to cover the West and Auburn. So we'll start with him in the East. How do you see? We're not going to break down every team. We're just going to cut to the chase. How do you see the East shaping up?
Man, coming into the season, on paper you would think Georgia,
Right.
but then with their quarterback situation,
Right.
and then their number 2 receiver going down,
Yeah.
it's hard for me to take Georgia, and
Right.
and I'm not just saying it because I am a Florida fan. Just
Right.
being honest, if I was a Kentucky fan, I'd say the same thing.
Right.
I would say, to me in SEC, the teams that usually are predominantly good is teams that have veteran quarterbacks.
Right.
We still to this day don't know who's starting for them, and then whoever that is, who's he going to throw to?
Right.
So with that being said, I would give Florida a slight edge over them from the aspect of Florida's got weapons returning, a veteran quarterback, and a defense that is going to perform. So
Right.
I would give Florida a slight edge over Georgia in the East. Not by much, but enough. And see, Florida's still got to have that mentality they can beat Georgia because
Yeah.
they haven't done it. They were ripe for the pickings last year and didn't do it.
Right.
And the year before, Florida, I thought, had a great chance of beating them. They didn't do it. So that I still think that mental hurdle for Florida is still there. They're going to have to get over that. A team that's scary and it's somebody y'all play pretty early, Kentucky.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, with
I
Terry
think they may
Wilson,
have the best lines
offensive line, defensive line.
in the East
Right.
on both sides of the ball if you put them in a blender and put them together.
Yeah, I didn't realize it. Somebody was telling me the other day that even their secondary, if you look at the pass coverage rating from last year, it was like top 10 in the country too.
He's the top guy. He's never going to get the 5 stars like an Alabama or a Georgia does. But he gets the 3 stars and some 4 stars and gets juice out of them.
Basically, what he does, they're right there in Kentucky. They get players. They pretty much anybody in Kentucky they want, unless somebody like Alabama or somebody comes in after them. But what they do, they get the sort of like the leftovers from Ohio and places like that Ohio State don't get, and them are good quality
Those
players.
are good quality players.
So, but yeah, they are a dangerous team. This is for me. This is how I see the East shaping up. I'm going with Florida too. At first I had Georgia until they had the quarterback situation with Newman opting out and losing Dominic Blaylock, the number 2 receiver for the year. I'm going to give a slight edge to Florida because Florida's got the edge at quarterback. I'm not going to say, to me, Georgia has the best defense in the country. I mean, that's a given to me. But I give Florida the edge at quarterback. I actually give Florida the edge at coaching.
Oh, yeah,
Until Kirby Smart can show me with all that talent that he's got, that for one, can he beat Alabama, and can he not choke in a big game? Until I see that, I'm always gonna give him. I'll give Mullen. Mullen's been there before too. I mean, it ain't like this is he's been there. So I give the edge to. I definitely get the edge to Florida. This is how I see the East shaping up. I'm not even gonna talk about like teams like Missouri. It's pointless at this point. So Florida first, Georgia 2, Tennessee 3. I don't even really think. Who else? Kentucky. Well, it's just like this. Between Kentucky, you can flip-flop between Kentucky and Tennessee. But if Kentucky comes to Auburn and wins, that's going to put them in the prime position. They still, to me, though, even if they beat Auburn.
They did that, man.
If they beat Auburn, it's still going to be the point where the best they can finish is probably 3rd. But still, that
means they're legit, though, if they go over to Auburn and win.
Yeah.
So that would change a lot of things if they did that out of the gate.
Tennessee's
coming on though, man. Like for real, like real talk. They're getting better. They're going to have to play like they did at the end of the season for the entire season, but better than that to compete for the East, in my opinion. The East as a whole's gotten better.
Yeah.
South Carolina's not as bad as they were. I can't ever give Muschamp a nod until I see him do something.
Well, I'll tell you the thing about it. It's funny you bring up South Carolina. I wasn't really going to talk about him, but I thought it was kind of funny that, he's probably going to get fired. He might get fired. He might get fired this year if it wasn't just to the fact that I mean, with everything's going on, these budgets and stuff's taking a hit this year, obviously. But I don't know how much his buyout is. It's probably $9 or $10 million. It's high. I do know that.
Yeah.
Well, for whatever reason, sort of like how Auburn gave Gus Malzahn this big buyout. Why are they giving these coaches these big buyouts? It's ridiculous. But that being said, I find it funny that the thing about Muschamp, he's basically a quarterback killer.
Oh,
I mean, he can't develop a quarterback, and their quarterbacks always struggle. And I thought it was funny.
No doubt.
Ryan Helinski for them last year actually played pretty good.
Pretty solid.
So what he did, he went out and got his boy he played at Georgia with, Mike Bobo, to come in to rectify the offense.
Oh, he wrecked it, all right.
Then out of everything that happened, guess what happened? Mike Bobo pretty much brought his graduate transfer quarterback from Colorado State with him. And now all of a sudden he's the starter. Right. Tell me how this happens.
When he was at Florida,
right?
He was horrible, man. And Urban, a lot of people dog Urban Meyer out for leaving Florida. And they're like, he left us. He left you with the number one class in the nation. People don't realize that when he left the number one class in the nation when they had Joshua Shaw, Dominic Easley, and all those guys. He left us with that class, number one class in the nation. And the people complain about him. They're like, and this dude actually, one thing I would give Muschamp is he kept us in the top 5 in recruiting every year.
Yeah.
He don't know how to coach.
Well, he don't know how to
coach.
When he gets out of his way and don't get too hot-headed with the referees, he's actually good. He's a good defensive coordinator. That's what he is. He's not a head coach. He's a defensive coordinator.
You're an idiot punching the...
I mean, this is... I mean...
You're an idiot punching the thing and breaking his hand on the sidelines.
Right. You know what's crazy? You'll hear Auburn fans, a few of them, sure to God, I know they're not being serious. A lot of people actually wanted him as their head coach.
Oh, no.
And the thing about what's crazy about it is the guy that Auburn's got now that nobody wants is better than Muschamp. He's twice the coach Muschamp ever thought about being.
The number one thing about Gus Malzahn is he is not scared of Nick Saban one iota. One iota.
The biggest knock, you say whatever you want to about Gus Malzahn. I wasn't going to go there today, but since you brought it up, he's better than the Auburn fans think he is, but he's not as good as what he thinks he is.
He's just not as consistent as they want him to be.
Right.
But that's part of the growing pains for him. And at the end of the day, the last thing you want is to get a guy in there that may be some consistent coach but would bow down to Saban. I'd rather have a guy who will flare up every 3 years and beat Saban consistently than wanting to bow down to him every year, even if we're 10-0, 11-0 going into the game.
I tell you what an Auburn guy that played at Auburn told me about Gus. He said a reason a lot of alumni and stuff don't care for him because he will not play the recruiting game that Gene Chislett did, Pat Dye did. We all know what they're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
He believes in if you have to do that, then it's not worth doing. If he wants to do it the right way. And I think
he's getting some studs.
He gets good enough players to win with. He's not going to get into basically a pissing contest with Kirby Smart and Nick Saban recruit when it comes to everybody knows what's going on at Georgia now. Let's just be honest. But think about Gus. If he finds out a coach on his staff is willing to do that, then you're not going to be around. So I applaud him for wanting to do it the right way. So, and eventually this little flash in the pan, this little Georgia little recruiting run they're on, eventually when they find out what Kirby Smart's really about, it'll all come back down to normal. He's a sugar-free. He wants to be a sugar-free Nick Saban. This is what he wants to be. And Jimmy Pruitt's the same way. They all cut from the same cloth. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I mean, that's enough of that. So, all right, let's take this little shift over to the West. Right. I mean, it's not even a debate. I mean, you say what you want to. I'm an Auburn guy through and through. It's Alabama, then everybody else. But I'll say this. This is my personal opinion on how I see the West shaking out. Alabama won. Auburn, I think, will finish second. I got Texas A&M third, and I got the returning
defending national champs fourth.
Just based on you don't lose 17 and 18 starters and just replace them. And then not only that, Joe Burrow, let's just we see what he's doing in the NFL, so we know that's not a fluke. And I mean Brady, the offensive coordinator, the brains behind the resurrection of their offense, he's gone. And that's not even counting the opt-outs and stuff they had. So I got Alabama finishing first. Like I said, Auburn second. Texas A&M, just due to the fact that I think Texas A&M has a better, for one, they got better coach than LSU. And for one, they got better quarterback. So I'll go with them.
I'm going to tell you something that's going to blow your mind, and you're not going to believe me. Okay. But I'm telling you right now.
Okay.
Alabama is proven
right
more dangerous with a quarterback like they have right now, Mac Jones, than Tua or what's his name that went to Oklahoma?
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts. They are proven to be more effective with a quarterback like that. And let me tell you what I mean by that.
Okay.
I think when Jalen Hurts got in there, they fell in love with him running.
Right.
All right. When Tua got in there, they fell in love with the dynamic, flashy, up-tempo, let's do this, let's do that, let's NASCAR this thing, a la Auburn. Let's go up-tempo and get these receivers out in space. That's not Alabama football.
No.
They are a downhill running team with Najee Harris.
Right.
Now they have a quarterback that they're going to have to turn and do that with.
Right.
And go and play action off of. That's when they're their most deadly because they cut down possessions of the other team.
Right.
And then, call it what you want. Well, I call them gritty white boys. Like what was the guy, number 14 that won the national title for him? That used to take the hits all the time.
Greg McElroy?
No, after him. He was there one season, Florida State transfer.
Oh, I can't think of his name, but I know what you're talking about.
The gritty white boys like those guys. Mm-hmm. The ones that'll stay in there, take the hits in the pocket, do the right check downs, scramble when he needs to. That's Alabama football.
Jacob
Coker. Running downhill, going play action off of him, making good checks. To me, that up-tempo flashiness with Tua, that's not Alabama football.
Right.
It looks good on paper and it looks good in highlights. They're throwing the wide open receivers, and I get it. But guess what Alabama's defense is doing? Go to the sidelines, back out on the field. Go to the sidelines, back out on the field. When they're effective, they go out there and run it down people's throat, control the clock, control the tempo, take possessions away from the other team. Their defense is rested.
Right.
Then they roll back out there and they go wide open for about 3 or 4, get a 3 and out. Then they go sit back down and guess what? Here comes Najee Harris. And then this guy can throw the football.
Right.
Look at Auburn game.
Yep.
They're more dangerous with a quarterback like Matt Wilson in there than they are with Tua or Jalen Hurts. I'm telling you. I would rather play them with either one of them other two quarterbacks than this cat right here.
Well, for one, he showed he's tough. He took several major hits in that Auburn game.
Big time.
Big time. Well, he played an excellent ball, except for he made 2 bad throws. One was an overthrow. Then the other one was what the pressure got to him on the goal line play where Auburn ran it back, the 99 yards for the touchdown. It's just called the pressure got to him, and he threw it behind the running back. But, yeah. So
what do you think? Like, you guys got to go over there this year.
Right.
That to me, that's the X factor.
Right.
Y'all are going to be pretty loaded this year. I don't know if A&M's there yet. I haven't seen it consistency from their quarterback play.
Right.
And their defense to me has just not been what he had at FSU.
How old is Kellen Mond? How long has he been there?
Oh, dude, 78. He's been there since 78, I think.
I think
he was a year after the Junction Boys.
Right. He shows flashes. He'll have a good game. Then he'll have one game where he'll pass for 330 yards. Then the next game he'll pass for 150 yards and 3 interceptions. But I think at some point, Jimbo Fisher, he's the quarterback whisperer. So he's going. I'm being I'm being facetious, but
the real quarterback whisper's in Gainesville.
Okay.
But this guy does work magic with quarterbacks in the past. But I'm just not seeing it from Kelly Mond. Like you said, he's Jekyll and Hyde. But then
he is a senior.
The reason they were unbelievable teams at FSU is because their defense was raw, dude, nasty.
Oh yeah.
He don't have that over here.
It's getting better.
It's getting better, but he went from now he inherited it.
Let's just be honest though. For one, first of all, there are certain games on there they're not going to beat Alabama. I mean,
no, they're not going to be. They can play Alabama at Atala.
Right, it's just not going to happen. So, and Auburn's had good success against them too. So, I mean, and the only thing about the Auburn A&M game is after we play Alabama. So that's a dangerous game. But with that being said, I want to touch on just for the record. I mean, not to take a shot at them, but a lot of people are still high on LSU for, I guess, because they recruit well enough. I mean, but I think, but I'm gonna call it like I know and see it and feel it. Ed Orgeron is their version of Gene Chizik, and I think it's gonna come to fruition sooner rather than later.
What was the Coker at Miami?
Larry Coker.
You
call what you want to say.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all cut for. Which I know a few LSU fans. They're gonna call me out, but I'll say this. I mean, I'm a Gus Malzahn. I'm not a supporter or a hater, but he better not lose them this year.
the best move he ever made was getting out of Brady's way and letting him coach that offense.
And yeah, but what is he gonna do? What is he gonna do now?
That's his best coaching move.
He's got Steve Ensminger, one of Tommy Tuberville's rejects. Basically, that's what he was. He's a Tommy Tuberville reject. I mean, let's just call it like we said. Which I mean, I think he's a good guy, but I don't think he's
when their number one threat opted out,
Jamar Chase.
Yep, Jamar Chase. When he opted out, and Brady left, and then you lose arguably, it ain't even arguably, the best quarterback season in college football history, Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
Period. And I'm a Gator fan with Tebow and Werfel and Spurrier. The best quarterback season in college football history. When you lose all that,
yeah,
and then you lose the brains, the bronze that was behind all that, Brady, there's no way. Brother.
Well, for one, I'll tell you this right now.
No way.
I'm willing to put my mortgage on it. I'm willing to put my 401k on it. There's one game I know they ain't got a chance in.
Alabama.
You don't.
They got them at home too. So if there's ever going to scrap around with them, it should be this year.
Well, think about it too. What did it for me was when Orgeron ran his mouth after they beat Alabama this past year. For one, a real head coach ain't gonna do that because it so happened to be that you play these guys every year.
I'm not gonna lie to you though, I got a good chuckle out of it.
Oh, you did. but now it's back to reality. Now
it is.
I don't see this. I actually don't see Alabama ever losing them again. I guess it's possible, but I just don't see it. As long as Saban's there, I just don't see it. So it's fun while it lasted. So like I said, with everything being said, they still gonna have talent, but we're gonna find out. This will be the best coaching job.
I got me a good chuckle, man.
This will have to be the best coaching job in college football history.
The best coaching move he's ever made, though, is get out of Brady's way. In my opinion,
best. But can he do it now?
No, well, even if he gets, he's gonna give it to Ensminger.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So
no.
And who's their quarterback this year?
Brother, I don't. Have they made an official announcement yet?
I guess. I don't know his name.
Bro, I don't know his name.
I mean, I think he was a 4-star recruit out of Mississippi. I can't. My mind's going to blank. I just don't want to think about LSU because to me they're not a factor this year. I hate to say it.
Is there a team in college football history that has a tougher schedule than Arkansas does this year?
They won't win a game. There's two teams I think.
Have you seen how they closed their season out?
Well, no, but I'll say this: there's two teams in the SEC that's not going to win a game this year. Arkansas and Vanderbilt.
If you're not going to win a game in a season where you only play yourselves, you're in trouble.
Well, think about it. The what's bad about it. The SEC could have did them a favor and let them play each other, but unfortunately, they don't play each other.
Brother, they play Georgia. Don't they play Georgia, Florida, out of the East?
Yeah,
and then they play everybody in the West.
I mean, it don't matter. I mean, they're not going to win. So I mean, it's kind of pointless.
They play. I think they play Alabama, or they play Florida, Alabama, and I think LSU.
Right.
Or maybe Florida, Georgia, and Alabama back to back to back. It's like you're just like out of 3 out of 4 games is like that. Okay.
All right. So this is officially
your prediction was
Alabama, Auburn, Texas A&M for what it's worth. Ooh. Which I mean, it's either gonna be Texas A&M or Mississippi State.
You don't expect anything out of them 2 new Mississippi coaches?
No, I'm not a Lane Kiffin guy. He's all flash. I mean, I
think he's lost a lot of his buzz off of.
Have you seen what he looks like lately?
He looks terrible.
Okay, well that's beside the point.
What's his Joey
Leach,
Freshwater?
I don't know. Mike Leach is 3 times the coach he ever thought about being. Mike Leach is so, he's weird and he's so out there that
he's
pretty
strange, bro.
He's strange. But I like him because he coaches football. He actually coaches football. Once he got away from Texas Tech where he locked the players up in a room and I guess pretty much
that was what's his name's son too.
Yeah. Pretty much got him out the sweat box. I mean, once he got away from doing all that, we find out. But I'll take this, like I said before.
Locked him up in a closet for,
I guess,
for concussion protocol.
I mean, yeah.
It was the announcer from CBS's son.
I know exactly what you're talking about. But I tell people again, watch out for their first game is they play at LSU. I think that's the 2:30 CBS game this Saturday. I'm telling you. That line started off at 17 points. I don't know what it is now since LSU's had a couple more opt-outs, which I actually think LSU's got a couple of guys opting back in on the defensive line. I think Tyler Shelvin and maybe somebody else. It don't matter. I'm telling you right now, LSU, more likely, I ain't crazy. They'll probably win the game from pure talent alone, but I won't want to play that game. I guarantee you Mississippi State keeps that game under the number. That's my 5-star.
What is the line on it?
I don't know. It's going to change because... LSU, we wait to see who opts in and opts out. But I'm telling you, it started off around 17. That's just whatever the number. I don't care what the number is. Mississippi State's gonna cover. That's my 5-star. I don't gamble, but that's my 5-star lock of the week. You can go ahead and lock it in.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that.
Maybe I'm wrong. Okay, we got that out of the way. So we got officially, of course. I mean, it's simple. Alabama in the West, Florida in the East. All right, I throw one at you. SEC Player of the Year.
I think it's between Mac Jones,
Okay.
Najee Harris.
Okay.
We've lost so many receivers. I don't know if. Let me see here. Let me think around the league. You think anybody on y'all's team could put up numbers like that?
Only guy that I think that'll be in the discussion was the SEC Freshman of the Year. I think Bo Nix could be in the conversation because I think Chad Morris.
I think the game will slow down for him.
Yeah, I think so. I think the Chad Morris.
It's moved to 19.
It's 19.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, go ahead and talk to your financial advisor this week. Put everything you got. If you want to look at your 401k, look at your mortgage, whatever you want to do this week, let's just go ahead and lock that in. Well, like I say, I'm a Christian, so I don't gamble. But that's free money to me. I could be wrong, and then I'll come back on the show next time I have one. I might not be able to have one after this prediction, but with that being said, I feel good about that.
Kyle Trask threw for about 2,600 yards and only played 2/3 of a season.
Right.
If he can keep that play and get better, and he's over 3,000 yards and say 30 touchdowns, he'll be in the discussion.
Well, I would say 90% of it. I would say about 75 to 80%. It's gonna come from a quarterback, more than likely. That's usually the safe pick.
The only X factor could be Najee Harris, but I think Trey Sanders and some of those guys is fixing to get a lot of those carries too.
True. All right. Well,
I don't know who.
I would say Mac Jones, if he holds on to his job. They talk about Bryce Young. I don't know how far.
Let me stop the camera right here.
All right.
I've seen Bryce Young play in person. I've seen Bryce Young play on film.
Okay.
Bryce Young is listen to me really closely.
Okay.
The most overrated football player I have ever seen in my life at quarterback.
You know more about that than I do. I just know what some of my Bama friends tell me about him. But you're going to get a lot of heat from this. I'm just going to tell you that now.
Hey, they can bring the heat because let me tell you something. If you've ever played quarterback,
right, you
cannot hold the ball at your waist.
Right.
You can't do it. He holds the ball at his waist. He's 5'11". He's playing at Modern Day where at one point he had 6 guys that were 4-star and above he was throwing to,
right,
and had another 3 to 4 of them that was 4-star and above that was blocking for him.
Okay.
So
I'll take your word for it.
He's going into a knife fight with an AK-47.
Well, according to a couple of my Bama friends that I know, I got a few of them, he's a combination of Russell Wilson and Kyler Murray.
No.
Okay.
No, Lord, no.
Okay.
Both of those guys have great mechanics.
Okay.
Put them all side by side and let him see the mechanic. You can't hold a football at your waist and be a good quarterback.
So basically, Mac Jones, what you're saying, Mac Jones will have nothing to worry about.
Mac Jones' job.
Okay.
I'll give you my car if he beats Mac Jones.
Okay. Well, I'll say this. So my SEC player to pick would be either, I think Mac Jones will be in the discussion.
I think Najee Harris is going to be
in
the discussion.
My dark horse is, of course, Bo Nix. So
Bo Nix, if they would turn him loose. Why is it every time they put him in 2-minute situations he does unbelievable?
Right.
Because that's what he's
better. Let him move around the pocket some. Roll out.
He's 2-minute. He's a 2-minute guy. I'm not.
Well, it's like this. I mean, the thing about Auburn though, and I'm a Chad Morris guy. I think he's a good play caller. I think he does some things that Gus does not do, obviously, which he actually runs a route tree, and he actually uses tight ends, which we got several now. So, but the thing about Auburn fans are not going to have to wait long to find out. That's a good thing about it because the first game, we'll see. So it's not even a debate on that. So
that game could get dicey up front for Auburn.
I'm going to tell you.
They can't block Kentucky.
Well, it's like this. We're going, since, Auburn and Kentucky and, our Auburn guy, we'll come out with the Auburn-Kentucky prediction here. I'm going to tell you right now, Auburn is not going to have this many possessions in this game.
No.
So they're going to have to capitalize on when they have the ball because I'm telling you, methodical. 3 yards here, 5 yards here. Because Terry Wilson's back from the injury. He cannot throw the ball downfield. I don't even know what kind of receivers Kentucky got, which I should have reached out.
They can't get it to him.
They can't get it to him. So, but I know they got an offensive line, veteran offensive line. Probably got more starts under the belt.
Defensive line's unbelievable too.
Low scoring game, ball control.
Oh yeah, I can see a 20 to 14 or a 20 to 13 or something like that.
Your unbiased opinion, because you've seen Kentucky way more than I have. Score prediction: Auburn, Kentucky.
Low.
What you feeling? I think the line's at 7.
I'd say 2013 Auburn.
Okay. I'm going to say, just for the record, I'm going to say 24-17 Auburn.
I'd take that and go if I was an Auburn fan. Yep. I know Auburn fans will be like, we should kill them. No. This ain't regular Kentucky, man.
Well, first of all, even if they beat Kentucky, they go to Georgia. Auburn goes to Georgia week 2 anyway, so let's just call it like we see it. And until Gus wins over there, so... You know, something we forgot to do.
Week 2, y'all go to?
We'll go to Georgia week 2. They threw us a bone, so we threw us, obviously. Oof. So I got Auburn going, since we didn't come with final records for the year, I'll just go ahead and touch on it right quick. I got Alabama going undefeated. I'll say 10-0, but I think they could lose the game because of the uncertainty. Some guys might miss a week. Injuries and just everything that's going with everything's going on right now. But I would say they got a chance. They're either going to be 9-1 or 10-0. I'm going to say they're undefeated until I see something different. But I got Auburn going 8-2. What you looking like in the East? I know you got Florida winning it. We think 9-1, 10-0. What you thinking over there?
I think we beat LSU this year.
Okay. I think, to me, worst case for them, which I can say the COVID situation.
We got a favorable schedule.
I would say. Worst case 8-2.
Yeah,
worst case to me.
Worst case, just from the COVID stuff and not trying to be a homer.
Right.
Until I see them beat Georgia. I mean, you're going to have to beat Georgia.
Right.
With factor in the mind hurdle of Georgia and COVID.
Right.
I'm going to say that guarantees a loss. Just between the two. Yeah. So I'll say 9-1. So possible 8-2.
Okay.
But I think if Florida plays their best.
Right.
They can play with anybody.
All right.
Now, Alabama's going to be tough to beat all the way around. But Alabama's not. Who fears Alabama now? I mean, nobody. It's not like big bad Alabama used to be. Now,
well, you know what you're going to get. Yeah. It's pretty much the same. I mean,
if they get back to what they used to do with Mac Jones and running downhill, cutting possessions down on the other teams, playing great defense, and him going play action off of it, a la he did with the guy that kisses his mother in the mouth, McCarron. If they start doing that type of football again, look out. Seriously. I mean, that's when they're dominant.
So this is what I think. I got Florida going 9-1. I don't know, because you can't guarantee anything right now.
Until he pieces it together. Even Tim Tebow, Danny Werfel, none of those teams went undefeated. So I'm saying 1 loss.
Okay, 9-1. I got Georgia going 8-2. For some reason, I just don't. I mean, you can rely on your defense all you want.
They're going to try to scrap games out, and he'll piece together offense. I'm
going to tell you a big loss for them. Not that I really care about Georgia that much. Well, that's true. South Carolina. Well, South Carolina beat them last year. That tells you all you need to know. At Georgia. But let me say this.
I remember that. Yeah, you're right.
But let me say this.
Golly.
They lost a player on their team which like I said, I don't care nothing about Georgia. But they did lose probably one of their most valuable players. Hot Rod.
Oh, yeah.
the kicker. So,
bro, he is gone.
I mean, I don't know who they're going to replace him with, but to me, that's a fact.
Who's had a longer tenure, him or Kelly Mond?
It's a push. It's a push.
Bro, them two guys. Oh, God. I thought, what's his name at Clemson was there forever.
Yeah.
They ain't got nothing with these two guys. Rodrigo Blankenship.
Well.
Ain't that his name?
Yeah. I mean, he's in the NFL, so
bro,
he's
his glasses.
Oh, God.
That's the Paris Island standard issue Marine Corps.
What's the old guy in the 60, Buddy Holly? Is that, you know what I'm talking about? You seen that movie? So yeah, exactly. But I think that's our time for this week.
Yeah,
we finally got a little football to talk about.
Yeah,
we're 6 days out, so
no doubt.
We're 6 days out, so as always, if you like what I'm doing here, hit the like and subscribe button.
100%.
I don't even know if I'm gonna have a show anymore after these predictions, but if I do. It is what
I think people get kick out of it because we're just being honest.
That's all you can do, man. The thing about me, I tell people all the time.
If you got an Auburn guy picking Alabama to win that,
well, I mean, you just got to be honest with yourself. Well, also the fact that the next time Gus wins us, this will be the first time. If that tells you anything. I mean, he's beat Alabama before. Don't get me wrong. I mean, he holds his own. He's beat Alabama more than anybody else in the league. But you got to win over there at some point.
It ain't like Tuberville Denny Stadium.
No.
Tuberville is paying taxes over there.
I didn't vote for Tuberville, but it is what it is.
Well, at the end of the day, it still was Tuberville-Denny Stadium for a long time. It still may be called Tuberville-Denny.
I wonder how many Alabama fans actually voted for him.
A ton of them did. Just because what he said.
Oh, yeah, that's true. And he supports Trump, too.
He's a big right-wing guy, and he piggybacks off of Trump to get that vote.
Right.
It's smart on his part. He's just rallying, because he knows where we live. It's Bible Belt. So that's right up his alley.
Well, hopefully we're back next week for another show to do a little follow-up on how
the FCC don't shut us down.
Don't shut us down. I know I'm going to get blasted, but as a side note, I could actually see, for some reason, I want to bash LSU. I don't know why. I got them going 5-5. Ooh. Whatever. So
their PA guy was on the other day,
right?
Who I'll tell you a real quick story because I know we're trying to shut down.
Right. He
got with a Central Clay PA guy. People don't know who Central Clay is. Central Clay County High School.
Yeah.
Very cool story.
Right.
Tommy Wood is the Central Clay guy. He's always admired the guy, and that where it says "You welcome to Death Valley at night."
Yeah.
Their PA guy got with Tommy Wood, cut him a piece out,
right.
Read out this poem Tommy Wood did, and play it Central Clay.
Right.
Central Clay's coach Danny Horn has 8 state championships, the most in Alabama history.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a real tradition-rich area up there of
right.
2 high schools they put together. Long story short, they had an interview with him the other day, and he was talking about the LSU announcer, and he said there's 6 games on our schedule we could sleepwalk through and win. And I'm sitting there thinking, I need to see which 6 games this guy's talking about. And I'm like, I think those Mississippi games are going to get dicey a little bit.
Yes, even start with the first one.
Do they cross over and play Georgia?
I'm not sure.
I know they play us. We play us every year.
I'm not sure.
And I know they're going to lose to us this year because we had them on the ropes last year over there.
I would say 5-5 it'd be hard for LSU. They'll probably the fan base be on suicide watch. So I'm gonna give them 6-4 just to be realistic. To me, going into the season, I don't care about the schedule. They're gonna lose to Alabama. Okay, they're gonna lose to Auburn. They're gonna lose to Florida. That's 3 games. Then I think one of the Mississippi schools could get them. A&M could get them. So 6-4. It is what it is. Like I said, I know some LSU fans, and even them, they're worried. They don't want to come out and say it because
do you think
you got a defensive line coach is what he is. He's a position coach running your program.
What 6 wins does he sleepwalk through?
I would say they're definitely counting the Mississippi schools as both wins. I would say, for one, there's one for sure win on there, Arkansas.
If anybody tells me that you're just going to show up and beat Mike Leach,
it's not going to happen.
You're going to have to play defense.
He's had all summer and spring. He's only going to run about 6-8 plays, but he's going to run them to perfection.
But he's going to have variations at all of them.
And think about it. I give them the edge in that first game. Not to keep talking about that first game. I give them edge. I give Mississippi State the edge at coaching. I give them an edge at quarterback. Because I think, if I'm not mistaken, they got the transfer quarterback from Stanford. So I already know he's been well coached.
Bro, this guy go get a 3-star from Asbury or a 2-star from Asbury and turn him into I won't say Heisman contender, but he'll turn him into a productive quarterback.
One name for you, Gardner Minshew.
Oh God!
And he's in the NFL now.
What about his mustache?
No
you ever see it?
I have.
No comment. My God!
I don't want to say something that I get me in trouble, so I'm just gonna leave it alone. So, I think really that's our time for this week. Like I said, hopefully next week. And like I said, I always appreciate Mr. Starkey coming on from Average Joe Sports Talk with the best high school coverage football around that I've ever seen. So always, anything you want to learn about from the high school around Etowah County and this surrounding area,
North Alabama in general,
he's got you covered.
He's gone, Bruce.
And he's a Packers fan, too.
I'm a Packers fan, and we're watching the Packers fan in the background, and we're also excited to announce football's back.
It is.
The COVID stuff.
For how long? I don't know. Maybe after the election over with. If we can survive through the election, I think we'll be fine.
Yeah.
For what that's worth.
Well, it's dying down, David.
Yeah, it's dying down.
So that's a positive.
I've never had it, so I'm healthy.
I have had it, and
it's
rough on some people. Some people it's not.
So I feel good. So now watching a Gus Malzahn debacle will make you feel like you got COVID, but that's beside the point.
Gus runs that COVID 2 minute.
If I see, hopefully this, not to get on that, but we get a first down, die play up the middle for 2 yards. It's a staple.
And then not even post corner, it's straight go route.
Well, think about it. It's 3rd and 15. obvious passing down, they run a play action Statue of Liberty in the backfield. That takes 10 seconds to develop. So, like I said, with my boy coming over Chad, we'll see what happens. Like I said, we're not going to wait long. So
if he turns him loose,
I feel good about it for now. But even if we beat Kentucky, I think that Georgia game is a big test for his mentality with Chad.
I think y'all beat Georgia.
We got shot. We got shot.
You say Minshew's name at the bottom.
Oh, God. Well, we got the edge at quarterback. I actually think about the edge at coaching because Kirby's not a coach.
Too many people jumped off the Knicks wagon too early.
Too soon. And you got to look at the factors last year. He got thrown to the Wolves with a psychotic coach calling plays.
I don't know what is he, 5th, 6th team tailback / H-back Peyton Anderson to come from 5.
He needs to get some playing time.
He told me this is the hardest thing I've ever had to learn. He said there's about 500 plays.
I believe it.
And he said, I can't learn it. He said, I don't know how in the heck Bo Nix is learning this. Because you got to know everybody's position.
Well, that's what he told you. Correct.
Yeah.
So 500 plays. That's a heck of a lot better than the 3 or 4 that Gus is running. It's a little different.
Yeah, he said, I don't know why we're learning all these. He don't run.
So, I mean, yeah. So, but anyway. Well, that's our time for this week. Look forward to being back hopefully another week or two. So, with that being said, War Eagle and
Go Gators.
That's it.